Acid-base indicators. Olfactory indicators. Reactions with metals. Reactions with carbonates. Neutralization reactions. Metallic oxides and acids. Ions and electrical conductivity. Hydronium and hydroxide ions. Dilution process. Now starting, summary. Acids and bases have sour and bitter tastes respectively. Litmus is a natural indicator that turns red in acids and blue in bases. Other indicators include turmeric, methyl orange, and phenolphthalein. Olfactory indicators, like vanilla and clove oil, change odor in acidic or basic media. Acids and bases react with metals to produce hydrogen gas and a salt. Metal carbonates and hydrogen carbonates react with acids to form a salt, carbon dioxide, and water. Neutralization is the reaction between an acid and a base to produce a salt and water. Metallic oxides react with acids to form salts and water and are thus basic oxides. Solutions of acids conduct electricity due to the presence of ions, especially hydrogen ions, H. Acids produce hydronium ions, HO, in water, and bases generate hydroxide ions, O. Dilution is the process of decreasing the concentration of ions in a solution. The pH scale measures the hydrogen ion concentration in a solution, ranging from 0, acidic, to 14, alkaline, with 7 being neutral. The strength of acids and bases depends on the number of H and O ions produced. Acid rain, with a pH less than 5.6, can harm aquatic life. Tooth decay begins when the mouth's pH drops below 5.5. Basic toothpastes can neutralize excess acid. Salts are formed from reactions between acids and bases and belong to families based on common radicals. Common salt, sodium chloride, is a raw material for chemicals like sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, and bleaching powder. Water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules in a salt's formula unit. Gypsum and plaster of Paris are examples. Now starting, key takeaways. Acids and bases can be identified using indicators like litmus, and they neutralize each other to form salts and water. The pH scale measures the concentration of hydrogen ions to determine the acidity or alkalinity of a solution, impacting various aspects from environmental health to dental care. Salts, formed from acid-base reactions, are essential raw materials for producing other useful chemicals. Now starting, memory aids. Lab turns blue. Which represents, litmus turns acids red, bases turn litmus blue. Vanilla and clove, smell the difference. Which represents, vanilla and clove oil are olfactory indicators that change their odor in acidic or basic media. Metal plus acid equals happy salt. Which represents, metals react with acids to produce hydrogen gas and a salt, salt plus hydrogen. The happy face indicates the hydrogen gas bubbles. Water CO2 salt. Which represents, metal carbonates and hydrogen carbonates react with acids to form water, carbon dioxide, and a salt. Neutralization is like a water fountain. Acid plus base to salt plus water. Which represents, neutralization is the reaction between an acid and a base to produce a salt and water. Tooth EP hive. Which represents, tooth decay begins when the mouth's pH drops below 5.5. Sober warbler. Which represents, Sodium chloride is a raw material for chemicals like sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, and bleaching powder. Now starting, fun facts. The word acid comes from the Latin word acidus, which means sour. Pure water is a very poor conductor of electricity. It's the dissolved ions that allow current to flow. The pH scale was invented in 1909 by Søren Peder Lauritz Sørensen, a Danish chemist. Some plants, like hydrangeas, can change flower color depending on the pH of the soil. The human stomach contains hydrochloric acid, hydrogen chloride, to aid in digestion. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, can be used to neutralize bee stings, as bee venom is acidic. Limestone, which is primarily calcium carbonate, is used to neutralize acidic soils in agriculture. Now starting, spotlight on greatness. Spotlight on greatness. Svante Arrhenius. Svante Arrhenius initially faced significant opposition to his ionic theory of dissociation, a cornerstone of acid-base chemistry, from the scientific community. Arrhenius' doctoral dissertation was initially graded as not quite satisfactory, but was later recognized as groundbreaking, earning him the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1903. Beyond chemistry, Arrhenius also contributed to the field of astrophysics, proposing theories on the origin of life on Earth through panspermia. Arrhenius was one of the first scientists to predict the greenhouse effect caused by increasing levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. He proposed that volcanic activity on other planets could influence their temperature and climate. Arrhenius coined the term physical chemistry, helping to define a new interdisciplinary field. He was a strong advocate for international scientific collaboration and actively participated in various scientific organizations. Arrhenius believed that the speed of chemical reactions was directly related to the energy required to initiate them, leading to what is now known as the Arrhenius equation. In his later years, Arrhenius became interested in immunology and developed a theory on the nature of toxins and antitoxins. Arrhenius was a member of the Nobel Committee for Physics and Chemistry and played a role in the selection of Nobel laureates in these fields. Now starting, infographic. Acids and bases overview. Acids are sour, bases are bitter. They react with metals and neutralize each other to form salts and water. Acid, base indicators. Litmus, turmeric, methyl orange, and phenolphthalein are indicators. Litmus turns red in acids and blue in bases. Ions in solution. Acids produce hydronium ions, HO, and bases generate hydroxide ions, O, in water. Solutions conduct electricity due to ions. The pH scale. The pH scale, 0 to 14, measures hydrogen ion concentration. 7 is neutral, below 7 is acidic, and above 7 is alkaline. Acid rain and tooth decay. Acid rain has a pH less than 5.6 and harms aquatic life. Tooth decay starts below pH 5.5. Toothpaste neutralizes acid. Salts and applications. Salts are formed by acid-base reactions. Common salt, sodium chloride, is used to make sodium hydroxide, baking soda and other chemicals. Water of crystallization. Gypsum and plaster of Paris contain water of crystallization, which is the fixed number of water molecules in a salt's unit. Substances that change color or odor in the presence of acids or bases. What are the products of a neutralization reaction? Salt and water. What is the pH scale? A scale used to measure hydrogen ion concentration. What type of oxides are non-metallic oxides? Acidic oxides. What ions do acids produce in water? Hydrogen ions, H+. What defines families of salts? Salts sharing the same positive or negative radicals. What is the chemical name for common salt? Sodium chloride. What is water of crystallization? A fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of a salt. What products are formed when acids react with metals? Hydrogen gas and a salt. What gas turns lime water milky? Carbon dioxide. Now starting, missing word. Acids and bases have distinct tastes and effects on dash. Litmus paper. Explanation. Litmus paper is a common indicator used to test for acids and bases. Indicators, like litmus and turmeric, change color in the presence of acids or bases. Some substances act as dash by changing odor. Olfactory indicators. Explanation. Some indicators signal acidity or basicity through changes in smell, not color. Acids and bases react with metals to produce dash and a salt. Hydrogen gas. Explanation. The production of hydrogen gas is a common indicator of acid-methyl reactions. Metal carbonates and hydrogen carbonates react with acids to produce a salt, dash, and water. Carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. Carbon dioxide. Explanation. Carbon dioxide is released when metal carbonates react with acids. Dash occurs when an acid and a base react to form a salt and water. Neutralization. Explanation. The reaction between an acid and base to form salt and water is called neutralization. Metallic oxides react with acids to form salts and water, acting as dash. Basic oxides. Explanation. Metallic oxides neutralize acids to form salt and water. Acids produce dash, H+, in water, responsible for their acidic properties. Hydrogen ions. Explanation. The presence of hydrogen ions is what makes a substance acidic. Bases generate hydroxide ions, O, in water. Soluble bases are called dash. Alkalis. Explanation. Alkalis are a specific type of base that dissolves in water. The dash measures hydrogen ion concentration, with values below 7 indicating acidity, 7 being neutral, and above 7 indicating basicity. pH scale. Explanation: the pH scale is fundamental for quantifying acidity and basicity. Common salt is a raw material for producing various chemicals, including sodium hydroxide, bleaching powder, baking soda, and washing soda. Sodium chloride. Explanation: sodium chloride, also known as common salt, is the source for many important chemicals. The correct answer is hydrogen ions, H+. Explanation: acids produce hydrogen ions, H+, when dissolved in water. What are the products of a neutralization reaction? The correct answer is salt and water. Explanation: neutralization is the reaction between an acid and a base to produce salt and water. What does the pH scale measure? The correct answer is hydrogen ion concentration. Explanation: the pH scale measures the concentration of hydrogen ions. Values below 7 are acidic. What pH level is generally classified as acid rain? The correct answer is pH less than 5.6. Explanation: a pH less than 5.6 is considered acid rain. What is washing soda primarily used for? The correct answer is in the glass, soap and paper industries. Explanation: washing soda is used in several industries and to remove water hardness. Which of the following are examples of olfactory indicators? The correct answer is vanilla, onion, and clove. Explanation: vanilla, onion, and clove are olfactory indicators, changing their odor in acidic or basic solutions. How does toothpaste help prevent tooth decay? The correct answer is neutralizing excess acid. Explanation: toothpaste, being a mild base, neutralizes the excess acid formed in the mouth, preventing tooth decay. How is bleaching powder produced? The correct answer is chlorine on dry slaked lime. Explanation: bleaching powder is formed by the reaction of chlorine gas with dry slaked lime. What is the chemical name for baking soda? The correct answer is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Explanation: baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Metallic oxides are considered to be what type of oxides? The correct answer is basic oxides. Explanation: metallic oxides react with acids to form salt and water, thus behaving like bases. Now starting, odd one out. Which of the following is not a standard acid-base indicator? Methyl orange, vanilla, phenolphthalein. The odd one out is phenolphthalein. Because methyl orange and phenolphthalein are both mentioned as indicators in the text, while vanilla is an olfactory indicator. Which of these gases is not directly produced by reactions discussed in the text? Carbon dioxide, hydrogen gas, oxygen. The odd one out is oxygen. Because carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas are produced by reactions described in the text, while oxygen is not explicitly mentioned. Which of these is not derived from common salt, sodium chloride? Sodium hydroxide, baking soda, plaster of Paris. The odd one out is plaster of Paris. Because sodium hydroxide, baking soda, and washing soda are all made from common salt. Plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate. Which of these substances is not a type of carbonate or hydrogen carbonate? Baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder. The odd one out is bleaching powder. Because baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate, washing soda is sodium carbonate. Bleaching powder does not contain carbonate. Which of the following ions is not directly produced by acids or bases in solution? Hydrogen ions, H+. Hydroxide ions, O. Carbonate ions, CO3 squared. The odd one out is carbonate ions, CO3 squared. Because hydrogen ions are produced by acids, and hydroxide ions are produced by bases. Carbonate ions are not directly produced. Which of these is neither an acidic nor a basic oxide as defined in the text? Salts. Metallic oxides. Non-metallic oxides. The odd one out is salts. Because metallic oxides are basic oxides, non-metallic oxides are acidic. Salts are neither acidic nor basic. Acid. Turns litmus red. Base. Turns litmus blue. Neutralization. Salt and water. Olfactory indicator. Vanilla. Metallic oxide. Basic oxide. Non-metallic oxide. Acidic oxide. Hydrogen ions. Acidic solution. Hydroxide ions. Basic solution. pH less than 7. Acidic. Chlor-alkali process. Sodium hydroxide. Acid. Placid. Base. Case. Salt. Assault. Water. Daughter. Litmus. With us. Metal. Petal. Oxide. Toss aside. Ions. Lions. pH. Bay. Chlorine. Screen.